Kalla here. Welcome to my live stream. Glad you could make it today. So, today it's time for more Charade Maniacs as we try and figure out what's going on here and how many of these people we can trust. Last time, we learned that it is quite possible that there may be several participants in this game who've done it before and lost things. And several of those seem to be on our team. So, let's continue on with the cooking team's common route and see where we get. Hyochi looked especially serious. They'd called the cooking team to their room, and everyone sat down looking nervous.
これで全員か。わざわざ部屋に来てもらって悪いね。
いいよ。暇だったから。
個室でないと話せないようなことなんですか。
そうだね。実は僕の性別の秘密について少し話を。
Huh? Hello, Drag. How you doing?
というのは冗談で、バックナンバーの話をしようと思ってね。
Yoshi! How could you do this to us?
つまらない冗談を挟まないでください。
エバナ君もハイジ君も反応が薄くてがっかりだな。セナ君のリアクションを見習ってくれないかな。
え、冗談だったの？
I took it seriously. You and me both, Senna. You and me both. I felt embarrassed for getting out of my seat.
いちいちイオチさんの持ちネタに付き合ってられませんよ。それでバックナンバーがどうしたんですか？
前に言ったと思うけど、ここ数日バラバラに保存されていたバックナンバーの整理を進めていたんだ。その整理が夕べ終わったから、その報告会をしようと思ってね。
Past episodes? You really finished organizing it?
全部と言ってもざっくりとだけどね。すべてのドラマを最初から最後まで目を通すのは現実的に不可能だったから。
Every episode? How many were there?
ドラマの作品数は247作品だったよ。話数にすると、そうだな、9000は近くあったんじゃないかな。
9,000 episodes of 247 different dramas. That's what that's about 30 episodes of drama approximately. And while all the episodes are quite short, that's still a lot to look at. Huh?
そんなに？
へえ、すごいね。
ちなみにキャストは23回入れ替わっているのを確認した。確認できたのね。
23 different sets of cast members. Well, if the cast members have been switched a total of 23 times, that gives us a pretty reasonable estimate as to how many episodes each cast has done. So that's like, what, 350-ish, maybe, episodes per cast? Is that right? Something along those lines. I'm being very approximate here. But like, when I don't know quite what the frequency of recordings is, but it's not that many per day, right? So I would suggest that each cast has been here like, I don't know, let's say about 3 recordings a day, which is possibly quite high. We're not actually certain. That's like 100 days. That's a long time for each cast to be stuck here. As far as you can confirm? What do you mean?
確認できない話があったんだ。それも時系列で並べると、最新話の多くが全て視聴できない状態だった。
よくわかんない。
つまり、僕の予測では、僕らがキャストになる直前の回、前回配信のドラマが全て視聴できない状態だ。
前回配信だけですか？
うん。他のドラマは全部見ることができたけど、前回配信のドラマだけはエラーになってしまって、中身を確認できなかったんだ。
It's just the set before us that we can't view, which suggests that the returners are from that one? Does it? Well, yes, it does, doesn't it? Because we were told that no one had actually made it back prior to that one, right? Or was it several ago? I don't remember.
前回配信分だけ全部ということは意図的なものとしか思えない。一体誰の差し金なのかな？プロデューサーか、それとも前回配信を見られたくない誰かによるものかな。
Yoichi suggestively glanced over at Ebana, but he remained quiet the whole time. As we talked about the previous stream's episodes, I remembered the time when I had gone to view some of them. Speaking of which, when I went to look at the past episodes, I remember there being one that I couldn't view. It was when we first came to this world. I think it was on the first day when I was doing some research on the bangle. Past streams? What's this? There were lots of video files. I tried playing one without thinking too much about it, and a video with lots of static noise started. I see some silhouettes. 1, 2, 3. I can only tell there are 9 of them. If the static noise goes away, I might be able to make out the faces. An error message popped up and playback of the video stopped. At first there was static noise, and I could only see the silhouettes of 9 people. After a while it showed an error and the playback ended.
僕が確認したものとは挙動が違うな。でもそれも前回配信分だろうね。おそらく。でも人影が9人。それは間違いない。
Yes, I counted them with my fingers since there was so much static noise that I could only see outlines.
なるほどね。エバナ君が前回配信の参加者が9人だと言ったときは正直半信半疑だったんだけど、これで裏付けられたことになるね。9？どうして前回だけ？
前回だけとは？
異世界配信のキャストは常に10人で構成されてるんだ。9人で構成されていた例は聞いたことがない。
Huh, so that's another difference about the previous one, huh? Hello, Nick. How you doing?
常に初耳ですが、そんな話どこかでしましたか？
それは元の世界で噂に聞いたことがあるし、これまでの配信を見たらわかるよ。
I'm not bad. Not bad at all.
へえ、10人セットなんだ。でもそのうち1人は裏切り者なんだよね。
そうだね。でも裏切り者がいることをこれまでのキャストたちは気づいていなかったという話だから。
Well, if we can view all of the streams for the groups that had 10, shouldn't we be able to identify the common thread and figure out who the producer is? Or are there multiple producers?
いずれにせよ10人で変わりはないはずだ。なのに前回だけ9人というのは不思議だと思ってさ。
たまたま一人少ない時もあるんじゃないか。セナも見たんだろ？9人しかいないところ。
Yeah, I only saw 9 people on screen.
では仮に前回配信がイレギュラーだったとして。
Yoichi looked down while deep in thought, arms folded.
なぜ前回配信がエラーで見られなくなったのか、そこが気になると思わないか、山野。
疑われているようですが、俺は知りません。図書館とバングルのデータにアクセスして動画を再生不可能にするなんてどうやるんだ？
ここのシステムのセキュリティにもよるけれど、コンピューターに詳しければできなくはない。
イオツさんはできるんですか？
セキュリティの状況によってはね。
ならあんたの方が怪しいでしょう。
でももっと怪しい人がいる気がするな。スポンサーとか。
Sponsor?
ね。
The sponsor?
そう、スポンサー。あれ？もしかしてみんな知らない？
I'm not sure we've heard about the sponsor. I don't think so.
そっか、よかった、調べておいて。この世界にはスポンサーって呼ばれる存在がいるみたいなんだ。その人が僕の大好きなアイスとか美味しい食べ物とかを運んできてくれてるんだって。監視者さんが言ってた。
なるほど。どうやって運んでくるかは聞いても返答がなかったけど、その存在自体は伏せられてないのか。
でも具体的にそれが誰かはわからないんだろう。10人のキャストの中にいたとしても。
Among the cast? My eyes met with Abana's in confusion. Abana's face looked calm, but he looked away as if he was surprised.
スポンサーは異世界人じゃない。俺たちの世界の人間で、プロデューサーの考えに従う狂信者のことだ。
Okay.
ああ、監視者さんもそう言ってたかも。狂信者。
プロデューサー側も同じように言ってるのかい？崇拝してくれる人間を狂気扱いするとはね。
さあ、誰が言い出したんだろうね。
Wait. The sponsor is here to help the producer, and they're also among the cast members?
ずるいね。知ってるなら答えてあげなよ。
何でも俺に聞かないでくださいよ。いるからなんだって言うんですか？ だから最初から周りは全員敵だと言っている。
ここで2人目の裏切り者が発覚か。参ったね。想定していなかったわけじゃないが。
Two traitors then.
エバナお兄ちゃんは知ってたの？なんだ、僕結構頑張って調べたのにな。
It's not just one, but two of them? You've got to be kidding. It became hard to believe in anyone when I learned about the No. It became hard to believe in anyone when I learned that the producer was among us. I thought the 10 cast members here were all on the same side. I didn't think someone was lying. But those two are still lying to us as if nothing happened. I should stop thinking about it like this. I just said that I'd believe in everyone. I think I can remain calm if I just consider every fact one by one. I took a deep breath and felt like I knew what we should try to tackle from there. But, Haiji, why did you think the sponsor was messing with past episodes? Sponsor. A co-conspirator of the Otherworld stream that provides supplies to the Otherworld. They are sometimes called a fanatic. The sponsor is said to be an accomplice to the stream. The sponsor is supposedly disguised as one of the 10 members. There we go, we've had a dictionary definition now. Been a while since we had one of those.
もしかしたらその見られなくなったドラマのエンドロールの中に見られたくない名前があったのかなって。
Credits.
ああ、見覚えがあるな。ドラマが完結した最終話の最後に流れるクレジットのことだね。
多分それ、出演したキャストの名前がずらーって出るんだけど、その最後にスポンサーの名前も出るんだよ。
そうなのか？僕が見たエンドロールにはスポンサーなんて載ってなかった気がするけど。まあ、でも一つか二つしか見てないからな。
そうなの？載ってないドラマもあるのかな？
時間が限られていたからごく初期の配信のエンドロールを見ただけなんだ。新しいものには載っているのかもしれないね。
So, what you're saying is that the name of the sponsor probably appeared in the credits of the previous drama's streams. All the dramas from previous streams were made unwatchable because they didn't want that particular name to be seen? We'd also know who was a previous cast member if we saw their name.
そう、もしかしたらだけどね。
うん、筋が通ってるね。お手柄じゃないか、ハイジ君。
やったね。
自分の名前がバックナンバーに載っていたらそりゃ消すしかないよな。ねえエバナ君。反論もしないのか。少しいじめすぎたかな。
But there's nothing pointing to Urbana being the sponsor. He could just be one of the previous participants.
そうなの、エバナお兄ちゃん。前回参加者なの？スポンサーなの？それともプロデューサー？
You know, out of these three, he's the one I least suspected of such things.
うるせえ。自分で考えろ。
まあいっか。頭使いすぎて疲れちゃったし、もう今日は終わりにしようよ。
Well, actually, maybe previous participants, given whatever's going on with his left hand, but...
そうだ、おやつ食べよう。頭使ったし、甘いもの食べたい。
brain food.
うん、そうだね。今すぐ答えが出るわけでもなし、もう少し調べた方が良さそうだ。
True.
あ、そうだ、エブラ君。お願いしていたアップルパイは？
いや、今真面目な話をしてたんじゃないんすか。誰がデータいじったのかとか、俺が前回参加者なのかどうかとか。
だから疲れたから終わり。
We're done talking about important stuff, now we want snacks.
ほんとついてけねえ。もっと真剣にやってくださいよ。
僕、真剣におやつ食べたい。
うるせえ。
Banner, you don't have to be so rough.
お姉ちゃんはおやつ食べたいよね。
Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess so. Haiji came up to me to hug me in a childish way, and I couldn't help but say yes to him. That caused Penna to become enraged.
だからそこで背中に抱きつきに行くな。俺の暴言を口実にするんじゃねえ。
暴言っていう自覚があるなら、もうちょっと優しくね。
Banner is oddly earnest in nature, so he's probably stressed out often. Jealous much? Yep. Yep. Oop. Well, Yochi, let's go to the hallway. While I was on my way to my room from the living room, I looked outside the window from the hallway. But no matter how much I tried to look, all I could see was darkness. I could barely even see the lights from the town. It's so similar to where we used to live, but this place is unfamiliar after all. I felt a slight chill when I realized just how different this world was. I don't really want to go back to my room alone right now. I turned around to go back to the living room, and I noticed the lights were still on. Huh? I thought everyone already went back to their rooms to sleep. Is someone still there? Or maybe they forgot to turn off the lights. I'd better go and turn them off. I went back down the stairs to the living room just in case and... Huh? Oh, what was that sound? What was that? It can't be a thief, can it? I gathered my courage and took a peek only to find Iochi there. I wondered what was going on and kept observing. Iochi looked serious while aiming a dart. Right as they threw it, I heard the same sound from earlier. Is Iochi playing darts? Wow, they're all in the bullseye. That is impressive, Iochi. yeah, I would have more concerns if there was a thief in this world as well as us. Yeah.
セナ君、そんなところに隠れてないで、こっちにおいでよ。
We've been spotted. Yochi, you knew I was here?
君の気配にはすぐ気づける自信があるよ。
Yochi urged me over, so I joined them. I heard a sound and I didn't know it was darts. Thought you had gone back to your room like everyone else.
一度は戻ろうと思ったんだけど、眠る気分になれなくてね。少し体を動かそうかなって。ここじゃアーチェリーはできないからね。代わりにバウンサーに頼んでダーツを出してもらったんだ。
Oh, really?
集中できるんだ。こういうことをしていると。
Yochi's calm tone of voice was deeper than usual, and it made my heart race.
よかったら君もやってみる？
I've never played darts before. Can I? I'm guessing that the why no archery is probably more to do with the lack of space to do it in. Although then again, I suppose there's not actually that much in this world, but... You definitely wouldn't be able to do it inside this building. There definitely isn't enough room inside. It would have to be outside. And at night, you probably wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm assuming that's it.
初めてなんだ。だったら教えてあげるよ。大丈夫。案外簡単だから。
Yochi then stood behind me and put their arms around my back to show me how to hold the dart. Like this?
持ち方は多々あるけど、いろいろ試して自分に合ったものを探せばいいよ。まっすぐ前を見て、的に当てることだけを考えて、そしたらこうやって構えて。
CG get. Yochi is so close. So let's have a look at that. To check my line of sight, their face was right next to mine. I was too nervous to focus on the target.
ほら、集中しないと当たらないよ。壁に穴が開いちゃうかも。
I wouldn't want that.
なら集中して。ん？それとも僕を意識しているせいで集中できないとか？
Little bit distracting, Yoshi. Just a little. Hearing those whispers made me even more nervous and tensed up. Would knowing their gender make me more flustered? Regardless, you're bold, beautiful, and attractive. And someone I look up to says that to me, I don't know how to respond.
おや、図星だったかな。
Because this is a bit embarrassing. Hyochi finally moved away when I said that.
ごめんね。君の反応が可愛いからつい。もう意地悪しないよ。
With Hyochi's guidance, I focused on the target once more. Oh, I hit it! I hit it! I couldn't get a bullseye like Hyochi did, but the dart I threw managed to hit the edge of the target. Ah, good job, you didn't hit the wall center. That's actually really good.
いいね。初めてなら上出来だ。この腕前じゃすぐに追い越されてしまいそうだ。
She agrees with me. Yep. Really good for your first time if you managed to actually hit somewhere on the target. The joy of being able to do it, coupled with Hyochi's compliments, made me smile.
と、僕と一戦お願いしたいところだけど、そろそろベッドに向かわないとね。
Huh? Already? Maybe just a little more?
嬉しいお誘いだけど、また今度ゆっくりね。夜更かしは美容の大敵だよ。
After saying that, Hiyochi quickly put away the darts.
さて、誠意を込めて君を部屋まで送らせてもらおう。
Thank you for walking me back to my room.
気にすることはないよ。それじゃまた明日。おやすみ。
Yes. Good night. Hiyochi smiled and was about to leave when they turned around as if remembering something.
そうだ。さっき君は僕を意識してくれてたみたいだけど、僕の性別で君が意識してくれているなら、君が僕を信じて接しやすい方で考えてくれればそれでいいから。
Hiyochi really can tell what I was thinking.
まあこれは君との距離が今よりもっと縮まるんじゃないかなっていう僕の下心なんだけどね。
Hiyochi smiled playfully at me. Huh?
それじゃ今度こそ本当におやすみ。いい夢を。
After saying that, Hiyochi returned to their room. I got teased again. But the bad feeling I had earlier was completely gone thanks to Hiyochi. I really wonder about their gender. Either way, after that conversation, I didn't think that I'd be able to fall asleep right away. Oop. Okay, we got to do a second one, so yeah, Banner, because he was my backup pick. I smelled something sweet from the hallway, and it made me peek into the kitchen. I noticed Banner take a baking tray out of the oven with scones on it. That smells delicious! His response was just as rude as usual, but it happened so often that I was already used to it. Are those scones?
分かってんならわざわざ聞くなよ。
Okay, but I'm asking because there seems to be different kinds.
がめつい。
Did you say something?
意地汚いって言ってんだよ。
Just because I want scones, Havana? You gonna call me greedy just because I want scones? Well, they're tasty. Uh-huh. So, why did you bake so many scones? I ignored Havana's attitude and decided to just ask him questions.
オーブンの確認。
Huh? You made this many just to check it? Looking at the scones on the baking tray, there were plain ones, chocolate chip, cranberry, walnut, and even ones that looked like tea leaves were mixed in. And none of those are a perfectly reasonable type of regular scone, excuse me. Where's my raisins and sultanas? There seemed to be more of the plain variety because it would be the kind that anyone would eat. I felt it was Abana's way of being considerate. They do look delicious.
食べたいなら好きに食べろ。
Can I? Yay! But I can't decide, so can I have one of each kind?
そういうのが意地汚いって言うんだ。
I'd rather be greedy than miss out on such delicious looking scones.
開き直りかい。
Yeah, the snacks you make are so good, Ivana. Speaking of which, I got a summer orange from Haiji earlier. Would you like some?
小夏なんで？
After breakfast, Haiji mentioned about how he's never had a summer orange before. So we had the watcher get some for us, but there were just too many. We were wondering what to do with it. But if there are scones, I thought that maybe you can make jam out of it and eat it together. Wouldn't it be marmalade if you're making it out of oranges? I don't know. What is the difference between marmalade and jam anyway? Genuinely, I don't know. Also, Senna, do you realize how long it takes to make jam? If you're gonna make him make jam now, the scones are gonna get cold.
だったら勝手に作れば。
Are you sure? If you don't mind, then I will. I secured my own cooking space. I started to peel the summer oranges and then cut them into pieces while removing the rind and seeds before putting it all in a pot with sugar. I was about to turn the stove on when...
ちょっと待て。
Huh? What is it?
まさかお前ジャムを作ったことないのか？
I'm now trying to work out what Senna's missing here. She's got the fruit. She's got the sugar. Has she found a thermometer? Is that what she's missing? Huh? I have. Don't you just cook it until it's reduced?
貸せ。一度鍋から出す。
After saying that, Havana took the summer orange pieces out of the pot and put them into a bowl.
こういう柑橘類をジャムにするときは切った後水で数回もみ洗いするんだ。そうすることで皮の苦みがある程度消える。
Can't say I've ever made jam out of citrus fruits, so I mean, that'll be why. Oh, I see.
それで砂糖を入れたら少し時間を置く。その方が果物から水分が出るからな。この果物そのものの水分を使って煮詰めるのがジャムを作る上でのポイントなんだ。
You know a lot about this, Havana.
せっかくの食材を無駄にできるか。
Havana started mumbling to himself while he prepared the next steps. He looks so irritated doing it, but he always ends up helping anyway. He's so kind.
あとは煮詰めるだけだが、この工程は手早くやれ。
Don't you let it simmer for a long time?
ジャムは短時間で一気に煮詰める方が果物の風味が損なわれなくていいんだ。
Oh, really?
感心してないで手を動かせ。
Okay. Even though he complained and yelled at me the whole time, we still completed the jam. Havana took some of the completed jam onto a small plate and handed it to me.
お前が作ったんだろ。自分で味見しろ。
I received that plate and put the jam in my mouth like he said. It's delicious!
ああ、そう。それは良かったな。
Yeah, clearly Havana knows better about making jam than I do. I mean, I have literally made jam once in my life. Actually, was it even? Yeah. Yeah, I made jam from the damsons that grow in my garden once. Should probably do that again this year because it looks like there's going to be a lot of damsons. It's plenty delicious on its own, but I'm sure it'll be even better with the scones you baked, Havana.
勝手にしろ。
Thanks. I'll make some tea so you can go have a seat.
はあ？なんで一緒に食べることになってんだよ。
You helped me make it, so I'm sure you want to try it too, don't you?
味を見るだけなら。
Then let me go and prepare it. I boiled some water and used the tea leaves in the can to carefully brew some tea. Okay, it smells nice. I took 2 cups full of tea and the container with the jam into the living room. Havana was already seated, and there was a large plate with a pile of scones in front of him. Thanks for waiting. Havana grabbed the cup and took a sip of tea.
ダージリンか。いい茶葉なんだろうが、蒸らしが足らないな。
Darn. Sorry. Want me to remake it?
別に、それより早くジャムをよこせ。
After saying that, Havana took a scone and split it in half. He then put lots of jam on it before taking a bite.
まあまあだな。
What is?
ジャム。
Really?
ああ。程よい苦味が残っていて、小夏の味が生きてるし、スコーンともよく合ってる。
Thank you. It's because you taught me.
別に、元の小夏がうまいんだろ。
Is that a blush I detect, Havana? Let's just leave it at that then. I'll have another. I took a plain scone from the big plate. The scones that Havana made were crunchy and not too sweet, but so delicious. Eating it with some jam, I felt like I could eat a ton of them. Havana said he was only going to sample it, but I saw a few varieties on his own plate. I finished the first one quickly and reached for the next scone, when I noticed him holding out a bowl filled with white cream.
これもジャムと一緒に塗って食べてみろ。
I imitated Havana and slathered the cream onto the scone, along with lots of jam, and the rich flavours filled my mouth. It's delicious! What is this?
クロテッドクリーム。スコーンといえばこれが定番だ。
Excuse me while I feel incredibly justified on my pronunciation of scone here. Oh, really? You really know a lot about these things, Havana.
これくらい普通だろ。
But I didn't know. Well, yes, of course you didn't know, Senna. You're Japanese. Scones with clotted cream and jam are English. Though I should admit, I like my scones without the jam and cream, but with raisins and sultanas in them. I feel like the type with dried fruits in it is a bit weird with the jam and cream. If it was plain scones, then yeah. I just have weird food opinions. Oh, speaking of which, there still are a lot of summer oranges left.
それなら今度はピールでも作るか。そのまま食べてもうまいし、菓子作りにも使える。
Ooh, candied peel. I know about candied peels. I've made some from oranges and lemons.
それで小夏はあとどれくらいあるんだ？
About 10 boxes worth? That is a lot of oranges. That's a ridiculous amount of oranges. How are we going to get through that many oranges?
はあ？いくらなんでも多すぎるだろう。
That's why I said I don't know what to do with them. You can only eat so many, but throwing them away after they go bad just feels like a waste. Well, that means we need to make a lot more jam, Senna. Because jam keeps longer. Lots more jam.
全部持ってこい。
Huh?
一つたりとも無駄にしてたまるか。俺のプライドにかけて全部調理してやる。
All of our meals for a while are gonna have orange in them, aren't they? Huh? For some reason, that lit a fire in Havana, and we talked about how we'd eat all the summer oranges while eating the rest of the scones. I woke up and pulled myself out of bed. I went to bed with the lights on. I fell asleep while thinking of something. I looked out the window wondering about the time, but I could tell that it was night. It's so quiet. I didn't hear any sounds in the lodging at all. That was enough to tell me that it was night. I thought that I'd gotten used to not knowing the time, but that really just seemed to blur the lines between reality and my dream world. If this was a dream, I wouldn't have had to think about who the traitor is. I should stop thinking about it for now. I'll go downstairs to get something to drink. I went to the kitchen and someone was there. They noticed my footsteps and I was welcomed with a smile.
おはよう。こんな時間に起きてくるなんて珍しいね。
I just happened to wake up, and isn't it still night?
そうだね。今のは朝の挨拶じゃなく、ただの起床の挨拶かな。
Some reason, Iochi touched the stem of a glass filled with amber-coloured liquid with the back of their finger. Sounds like it could be wine of some kind. No, it's a cocktail. There was a shaker nearby, and I remembered Iochi mentioning that hobby. Iochi, are you drinking a cocktail?
少しだけね。眠れないのなら何か飲む？ミルクかココアか。 冷たい飲み物でもいいかな。一応夏だしね。
Yeah. Can I have something cold?
グレープジュースとアイスティーがあるけど、もう一度寝るならジュースかな。僕がノンアルコールを作ってもいいけど、どうする？
A cocktail for me? I'd feel bad for making Yoichi do it this late at night. I'm fine with juice. Maybe I'll have the cocktail next time.
そっか。じゃあまた今度作ってあげる。眠い時に引き止めるのも悪いしね。
I don't think I'm sleepy anymore, so I'm trying to do something about that.
そう？じゃあ手頃な眠気が戻ってくるまで少し話そうか。
Yoichi skillfully poured some juice into a cup and handed it over to me in a manner that made me think it was a cocktail. It made me laugh a little bit, and Yoichi winked at me. You look like a bartender.
真似事だけどね。似合うだろう。
I think it suits you.
ありがとう。冗談も言ってみるものだ。
After laughing loudly, Yoichi gulped down the remainder of the cocktail in the glass. You downed the whole thing. You probably hold your alcohol well.
弱くはないね。一気に飲んだのは気まずかっただけだけど。
Awkward?
君が起きてくるって分かってれば別のものを作ったんだけどね。もう一杯飲み直そっかな。
Yoichi took 3 liquor bottles from the shelf and poured them rhythmically into the shaker. It looked pretty cool to me, but there was something else that got my attention. Did I come at a bad time?
そんなことはないよ。ナイトキャップのチョイスを間違ったなと思っただけ。
Bartender Yoichi. Just try to read the bottles. The larger bottle just seems to say Charade Maniacs on it. And the smaller bottle, I guess it's apricot something? Nightcap?
夜寝る前によく飲まれるカクテルのことだよ。平たく言えば寝酒のことだね。
Oh, so how did you pick the wrong one?
食いつくね。まあ気にするようなことじゃないよ。お酒が飲めるようになったら説明してあげる。
I really don't get it. Am I not allowed to ask?
言うと君が困ると思うから、やっぱり大人になってからだね。
You're treating me like a child.
違うな。女の子扱いしてるんだよ。
What's the difference?
全然違う。それも大人になってから教えてあげる。
Yoichi is supposed to be 24. That's 7 years older than I am, so I guess being treated this way is normal. There we go, Yoichi's 24. I'd forgotten exactly. I think that does make them the oldest one, right? Pretty sure. sorry for being so persistent about it.
口が止まってるよ。すねないで。意地悪してるわけじゃないからね。
I know that.
かわいいね。さっきのカクテルのレシピはブランデーにホワイトラム、関東にレモン。
Huh? Recipe?
そして今作っているのはアプリコットブランデーにリカール、シャルトリューズ・ジョーヌ。
It was something apricot.
アプリコットの色彩と甘みがハーブの香りと混じり合うイエローパロットだ。
The orange-coloured liquor smelled sweet as it was poured into the glass.
パロットの意味はオウムみたいに綺麗な色だろ。
You're right. It looks like juice.
でも君はまだ飲んじゃダメだよ。こう見えて結構きついしね。乾杯。
Well, yeah. It would be quite strong given it's just made of 3 different alcohols. Not a mixer in sight. We said cheers with my juice and Iochi's cocktail. Maybe it was the excitement of waking up late, or maybe it was just Iochi's conversational skills. But it seemed like I was in a different place. The grape juice is starting to feel like alcohol to me.
そりゃ困るね。高校生にお酒を飲ませたのがバレたら怒られる。
No one will find out, so it's fine.
そうかな。今この瞬間も全世界に配信されていたりしない？
Wow, that would be terrible.
しまった。冗談にしてももっと楽しい冗談にすればよかった。
Light-hearted? Like what?
なんだろう。明日朝が来たら今までの出来事はすべて夢で自分の部屋にいたとかかな。
That would be nice. I've been wishing for that.
今は
I still do.
元の世界に戻ったらぜひ一度君とデートしたいな。
Uh-huh. A date? How chaotic would a behind-the-scenes thing of all of the casts be? Yeah, it would be chaotic for sure. Huh?
遊園地とか夜景の名所とか、いっそ海なんてのもいいね。普段は行かない場所がいい。
We could do all of those things, Yochi. Why a date?
24歳会社員が女子高校生と知り合う機会なんてそうそうないものだよ。この機会は大事にしないとね。あ、今のちょっとおじさん臭かったかな。
A little bit, Yochi. Little bit. Are you an old man?
いや、おじさんに見える。
No. You don't.
だよね。
Yochi smiled confidently, so it was probably just another joke for fun. When I talk to Yochi, it's so calming. Maybe that's why. I started to feel drowsy again and I started to slur my speech. I'm so relaxed that I'm getting sleepy.
そうじゃあ部屋に戻る
I thought I answered that I would. Or maybe I didn't. I felt like I was floating, and then I felt like I couldn't remember much.
安心だなんてそうそう言うもんじゃない。僕がわきまえてなかったら今頃食べられちゃってるかもしれないよ。ゆっくりお休みお姫様。
Not so sluggish as I yawned in bed. The bright light shined in my eyes, telling me that daytime was here. Uh-oh, I think I overslept. Wait, when did I fall asleep? I don't remember. I jumped out of bed and checked the bangle. There was a message waiting for me. From Iochi? Thanks for letting me see your cute sleepy face. Huh? Oh! I checked my surroundings and saw that my shoes were placed in a different spot than usual. Watcher was also propped in a different location. Did I fall asleep while talking with Iochi? Iochi carried me here and then tucked me into bed. The thought made me blush. So embarrassing! I checked to see who was in the living room as I tiptoed downstairs. But because I had overslept, the living room was already empty. The ones who were going out already did, and everyone else had returned to their rooms. Thank goodness. I wouldn't know how to face Iochi if we were to meet right now.
おはよう、セナ君。朝の挨拶にしては遅めだけど。
Speak of the devil, I cautiously turned around and saw Iochi there as expected.
なんだか顔が青白いね。体調は平気？
I'm fine.
そう。
I'm completely
よかった。
healthy.
ちなみにこれから公園へ行く予定なんだけど、一緒に行かないかい？
To the park?
うん。メンテナンスの件があったから、君はまだ異世界人に抵抗があるんじゃない？でも、ずっと避けて生活するのは難しいだろうし、少しずつ慣れるのはどうかな？
You're right. It wasn't realistic to think I'd never go out. It was something that I had to get used to, or I would have been a drag on everyone else. And with Iochi by my side, I felt like it wouldn't be scary. Then, please let me go with you. Thank you.
了解。朝ごはんまだだよね。冷蔵庫にピザトーストがあるから食べるといいよ。待ってるから。
Pizza toast. Is that like toast with pizza toppings, or...? Oh, I was on rotation to make breakfast.
変わっておいたから大丈夫だよ。ゆっくり食べて。
Thank you. Iochi's acts of consideration were 3 or 4 steps ahead of anything I could anticipate, so it sounded kind of pitiful. Yoshi is so mature.
スポンサーからの預かり物はこちらになります。
はい、ありがとう。
I watched the exchange between Yoshi and the ice cream vendor from a distance. I heard that Yoshi needed to do something, but I didn't think it was to get a package. I observed the exchange intently.
ちなみに聞きたいんだけど、
はい、何ですか？
どうしてこれはバウンサーではなくスポンサー経由の支給になったのかな。普段の食べ物と違いがあるの？
さあ、違いまでは私には分かりませんね。頼まれたものを渡しているだけだから。
そっか。なら仕方がないね。
あれ、あんた。
どうしたの？
朝も会いましたか？いや、もっと前だったかな。
ドラマで見たからじゃないかい？それにここにはよく来ているしね、散歩がてらに。
ドラマじゃないと思うな。ずっと昔のことだったかな。よく覚えてないけど。
This is more conversation than I'm used to coming from this guy. A long time ago?
似ているだけ。気のせいなのかな。
Who is he mistaking Yoshi for? Like a previous cast member?
君たち、いつの間にか随分人の見分けがつくようになったんだね。
ああ、そうなんです。キャストの誰が誰かも少し分かるようになってきましたよ。
The Arcadians are learning. Previously, they said they could only tell men apart from women. Now they can tell each individual apart? His speech makes more sense than previously, and it makes me think about the difference from regular people.
随分君たちの中で変革があったようだ。興味深いね。
I wonder if they got upgraded during the maintenance a bit. Seeing Yoshi make that big smile, the ice cream vendor then nodded in an exaggerated way.
やっぱり似てますよ。よくわからない言葉を喋るところとか、その表情とか。
そうなのか。
Suddenly, Yoshi's expression darkened. Yoshi stood frozen, unblinking, as if struggling to process what was just said. What's going on? Yoshi resembles someone?
さて、荷物も受け取ったし、そろそろ帰ろうか。瀬名君、少しは慣れたかな？
You know, I suppose, alternative theory, one of Yoshi's relatives was it could have been a previous cast member. Oh! Suddenly my gaze met Ihochi's. It felt a bit awkward because Ihochi noticed I had been staring. I think I wasn't supposed to hear that conversation at all. About that, what did you get?
不好みや果物だよ。産地を指定して新鮮なものをとリクエストしたらスポンサー経由でと言われたんだ。
Fresh fruit from a specific place. Therefore, it had to come through the sponsor and not through the bouncers. I'm not sure that... I don't think the stream would have been running for quite long enough for a previous cast member to have a 24-year-old child. And also because we know that definitely the earlier lots, no one actually made it back home. So I'm thinking more like a missing older sibling. Or possibly younger sibling. I don't know. Oh, really? Are you going to use it for cooking?
いや、これはカクテルに。正しくはカクテル風ジュースだけど。っていうか君。
Huh? What's wrong?
そんなに慌てて空気変えなくてもいいのに。気を使わせてごめん。
That's not true.
君はどこまでも素直で一生懸命だね。こんなことに巻き込まれなければ普通に生きていられたのに。
A normal...
早く元の世界に戻れるといいね。君の無事と幸福を祈るよ。
I wonder why... Yoichi has been aloof for a while. Yoichi is a cast member just like me. Me too. My wish is that you and everyone else will get back to our world soon.
そうだね。僕も一生懸命頑張らないと。
That smile was different from usual. Unconfident. Yoichi's gaze suggested maybe there wasn't a future to consider. Then Yoichi looked away. Yoichi is so mature, kind, smart, and dependable. Yoichi has been someone with no flaws in my eyes. But right now, maybe Yoichi is feeling uneasy. I'm usually surrounded by my younger siblings, so I had trouble gauging how to talk to people older than me. But sometimes, I thought that maybe I could treat everyone the same way. Alright. I took a step forward and took Yoichi's hand. Yoichi, I think you're working plenty hard. You're the oldest here, so it's probably tough for you in ways I can't even imagine. I'll do my best to try to support you, so please don't push yourself too hard. If you do that and collapse, I don't know what I'd do. Oh, Yoichi's surprised. Did I say something weird? Or was I being a bit presumptuous? I'm always the one being helped, so maybe it was strange of me to say it. But I don't want Yoichi to overdo things. I quickly regretted what I said, but Yoichi reached over and pulled my face closer. They touched my hand and... Yoichi's index finger pressed against my lips. It was as if any words coming out of my mouth were stopped by those fingers.
嬉しいこと言ってくれるね。でもな、違うことが気になっちゃって。
Something else? I blinked in response instead of talking. Yoichi then smiled as if something was funny.
君、昨日も思ったけど、好きだらけだよ。いつも。
Huh?
僕のこと信用して気を抜いてくれているなら嬉しいけど、もし僕のことを女だと思って油断してるなら食べちゃうから気をつけてね。
So, you're not a woman? After surprise, I blurted that out despite how Yoichi's finger was still on my lips. But Yoichi maintained that same smile while pointing around aimlessly.
さあ、どっちだろうね。
It's different with my younger siblings.
で、結局、夕食用のラーメンのチャーシューは完成しなかったと。
It's because Abana started telling scary stories.
聞きたいって言ったのはお前だろ。
I did not! I didn't say a word like that. I said I didn't want to hear it.
僕は聞けて楽しかった。
うん、楽しめたのは良かったね。でも今日の夕食はどうする？チャーシューのないラーメンか。
監視者に出してもらえばすぐじゃない。
But you don't want that, right, Havana?
待ってくれ。レシピを変えれば20分でもできます。さらにこいつをキッチンから追い出してくれれば15分で終わる。
You're always trying to chase me out.
いらないって言ってるのに手伝おうとするからだ、おせっかい女。
I'm on rotation for the task, so I have to.
君たち仲いいね。ともかくそろそろみんなが集まる頃合いだし、準備を頼むよ、エヴァナ君。セナ君は僕と一緒に食卓の準備をしよう。なんならラーメン屋を真似てのれんでもかけようか。
Just gonna make it look like a ramen shop, huh?
何それ、楽しそう。
Where are you going to hang that? At the entrance?
いや、冗談なんだけど。まあ、検討しよう。二人はリビングへおいで。
We let Havana take care of things in the kitchen, while Iochi, Haiji, and I went to the living room. Iochi was busy during the day, so the three of us made dinner, but things ended up being weird.
しかし、エヴァナ君の女嫌いも困ったものだね。口喧嘩ができるなら重傷というほどではないんだろうけど。
I think it's serious. He's always reluctant to cook with me.
あまりに苦労がかかるなら、夕食の分担も2つに分けるかい？僕かハイジ君と組むことになるけど。
I'll be fine. I think it's better for Havana to get used to me too.
僕もそう思うよ。じゃあ、このままで行こう。そのうち態度を軟化してくれるといいんだけど。
ねえ、のれんって何？
ああ、忘れてた。やっぱやる？ラーメン屋ごっこ。
It sounds like fun, but we have no place to hang it. Do we get Watcher to bring it out too? It seems like that's the only way.
やらないの？
そうだ。もっといいことを思いついたよ。
いいこと？
ハイジ君、さっき怖い話が楽しかったって言ってただろ。僕が怪談を話してあげるよ。
いいな、楽しそう。
Wow, your stories will be really scary.
さらに雰囲気を出すために夜の学校でやるってのはどうかな。絶対面白いよ。
よくわかんないけど、すごく楽しそうだからやりたい。ね、お姉ちゃん。
Huh? I
やらないの？
I really hate ghosts and scary stories in general. But when Haiji says it like that...
苦手な人に無理をさせるわけにはいかないよ。他のメンバーを誘う。
At the school at night... That definitely will be scary.
そっか、調理班のみんなでやりたかったんだけど。
Let's do it. It's alright. I'll be okay.
本当？
Yeah. I want to try and do team building with the cooking team too. I'm not scared of ghosts, so it's okay.
嬉しいな。ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。
笑顔が引きつってるけど、まあ断れないか。
Since we're doing this, we have to get Abana to join too. I'll have him do that test of courage game by himself.
やるとは思えないけどな。
やらねえよ。バカじゃねえの。
ほらね。
The four of us in the cooking team had finished cleaning up after dinner and came to the school. Telling scary stories at night in school. That was part of the test of our courage. Oh? When you were preparing dinner, you said you weren't afraid of scary stories. So really, you're really afraid then?
はあ？
That smirk on Senna's face right now, it's great. I guess so. You're too afraid to do the test of courage alone, right?
んなこと言ってないだろうが。そうやって乗せようと思っても無駄だからな。
ハイジ君、本当に一人でも平気なの？誰かと一緒の方がいいんじゃない？
平気。肝試しができたら一人前なんでしょ？
どこから拾ってきた曰くなんだか。まあいいか。せっかくだから楽しもう。
Yeah, Banner. I'm sure you're scared, so you want to team up with someone, right? Want to team up with me?
一人で行く。
結局行くんだ。
So we did taunt him into it. He said that we couldn't. Banner is so easy.
あ？なんか言ったか？
Nothing at all.
お前夕食の準備の時のこと根に持ってるだろ。
でもあれは嫌がってるのにわざと怖い話をしたエバナお兄ちゃんが悪いよね。僕は楽しかったけど。
Yeah, you should do the test of courage alone and see how I felt at the time. I hope lots of ghosts come at you.
出るわけないだろ。子供か。
You just set yourself up there. Now there definitely will be ghosts.
はいはい。じゃあみんな一人ずつ行って2階の端の教室で集合しよう。瀬名君は誰かと一緒がいいよね。
I can't do this alone.
素直でいい。じゃあ僕と一緒に行こうか。ハイジ君とエバナ君は一人で行きたいみたいだし。
Well, I'd choose to go with the Ochi if I had the choice anyway.
そんなことは言ってません。こいつと一緒なのが嫌なだけです。
あ、僕、お姉ちゃんと二人でもいいよ。一人でも平気なところ見てもらう。
瀬名君と一緒なら一人じゃないんだけどね。どうしようか。9時か何かで決める？
僕がアプリで決めてあげる。お姉ちゃんに教えてもらったんだ。
Haiji started up the app that I used when the teams were decided.
ちょっと待って。今準備するから。
While Haiji was fumbling with it, Yoichi surveyed the perimeter of the school.
ゆっくりやっていいよ。僕は一応周りを見回ってこようかな。まあ大丈夫だと思うんだけど、一応ね。
夜は異世界人もめったに見かけないし、安全なんじゃないですか。
そんなのわかんないよね。エバナ君も手伝って。校舎の周りを一周するよ。僕は右回り、君は左回り。
一人でいいんじゃ。
はい、行くよ。
Hyochi is already gone. So, how is it, Haiji? Do you think you got the app running?
うん、もうできたよ。でも一つだけ。
What is it? Haiji looked at my face and playfully whispered into my ear.
お姉ちゃんは誰と一緒に行きたいの？
That's exactly what I expected him to say. Haiji, are you going to rig this for me? Oops. Huh? Oh, what do you mean?
一緒に行きたい人いないの？いおちさんか、エバナお兄ちゃんか、それとも僕か。
I don't really care who. I'm just too scared to go alone.
でも、できれば好きな人がいいでしょ？ああ、僕じゃなくてもいじけたりしないから、それは気にしないでね。
Prefer? I don't think I do.
ほら、二人が戻ってきちゃうよ。誰がいい？
Well... I've only got one choice. Is that indicative of where I'm heading? Because if so, I'm pretty happy about it. I want to go with Yochi. I think I'd prefer Yochi. Yochi did want to go with me.
そっか。じゃあ、一緒に行けるといいね。
Yeah. That's certainly what I said. But I didn't think it would turn out that way.
結構暗いね。僕のライトで行く先を照らすから、君は自分の足元を照らすといいよ。
Like this?
照らす方向を調節した方がいい。貸してごらん。
The bangle had a flashlight function, and Yochi adjusted it nicely so I could see in this dark hallway. Yochi is so dependable. I agreed to the test of courage after seeing how disappointed Haiji looked. But I didn't want to quit now. This was all thanks to Yochi. It's not scary when I'm with you, Yochi. It's so strange.
よく言われるね。僕は怖いものなしだのって。
I think I understand. You don't look like you'd be afraid of ghosts. You probably aren't afraid of anything, actually.
君はお化けが怖い？霊とか信じるタイプなのかな？
When it comes to ghosts, well, I start getting scared when I think of them, so I wish you'd just laugh it off. When I was in middle school, my parents left the computer on, and the screen showed an image filled with static noise. I still don't know to this day what that exactly was. But a girl in uniform was screaming. She made this extremely sad face. It was so scary to me. And that was a traumatic experience. I could only describe the image as creepy. The lack of clarity made the screams more haunting. The dark, lifeless scenery turned my stomach. The screams and mechanical noises overlapped and the person just collapsed. She rolled over like some corpse. But then the screen switched off suddenly, and it made me even more curious. I tried to research what it was, but the computer didn't have any video of it, and there was no trace of accessing anything online. I asked my mother about it too. She said it was my imagination and to forget it. But when I get told that, I start to be more curious and afraid. The noisy footage felt like it wasn't from this world. It made me so afraid. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have talked about this. I suddenly felt an oncoming wave of regret, and I could feel my back wet with sweat. Even if Yoichi was kind and dependable, I shouldn't have talked about this. But after I thought that, I felt a warm hand hold up my fingertips.
その映像を見た君は恐ろしくてそれを忘れることができなかった。だから今もお化けや幽霊、怪談や怖いものが嫌い。そういうことかな。
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm starting to get scared again.
笑う約束だったね。君が笑ってと言うならいくらでも笑ってあげる。でもその恐怖はおかしなものじゃないよ。かわいそうに怖かったね。
Yoichi held my hand, and my heart was filled with emotion. There wasn't a speck of fear left in it. Yoichi understood me. Until now, I've never told anybody about this except my own mother.
そうなんだ。まだ誰かに話す必要があるかい？怖いときは僕に言えばいいよ。受け止めてあげる。
I don't think I have to tell anyone else. I whispered that in my heart as I held hands with Yoichi. Although it was through a glove, I could feel Yoichi's warmth. The darkness of the school at night was nothing compared to this warmth. Even if I were to remember that footage from here on, I think I could feel differently about it. By the way, are we still going to tell scary stories later?
するよ。ハイジ君との約束だからね。
I think ghosts might really come out.
じゃあまた手を握ってあげる。怖くなくなるまで繋いでいいよ。
I think we'll be holding hands the entire time.
僕は全然構わないよ。
Yeah, of course you'd say that, Yoichi. Yoichi's nonchalant words filled my heart, and also made me feel bashful at the same time. I didn't know what else to say to continue the conversation, so we just walked quietly. Yoichi then said something like an addendum.
しかし、いずれにせよ、君に恐怖を植え付けた犯人は何とかしないとね。
Huh? Mastermind?
気がつかなかった？今君が話してくれた映像、まるで異世界配信みたいだよ。
Yeah, it did kind of sound like that, didn't it? Oh! It happened so long ago that I didn't associate those two. But now that Yoichi mentioned it, it felt like that's exactly what it was. So that past cast member probably met their dead end.
そういうことだろう。過去の君はそれをたまたま見てしまった。不幸なことにね。
So that's how it was. I didn't notice at all. Why didn't I think of that?
怖い思いをしたんだ。なるべく思い出さないようにしてたんだろう。だからこそ許せないね。
I noticed how Yoichi's expression was oddly cold while saying that. I hope I don't die like that. I don't care how we end up, but I hope we can all go back to our world together.
どんな形でも。
Yoichi's hand let go of mine.
いや、
No,
そうは思わないな。
how do I say? Ooh, ooh. I felt a slight shiver down my spine.
恐怖を生み出す悪の根源はいらない。二度と君、他の誰も恐怖をまき散らすことはないよ。絶対にプロデューサーを見つけて断罪する。必ずだ。
Ooh. Something, the cocktail. Right. Before we get on with this, I'm just going to go and get some more water. I will be right back. And I'm back. Chapter 8, you question? It could be Iochi vision. Maybe. Should I assume it's Iochi vision? Wait, is there any chance I can access the flowchart from here now? No. Wait, no. As I know, we can just save and then we can see where we are. Ah. Save. Iochi route! I did it! I got on the route I was aiming for this time. Iochi isn't locked. Man, I'm happy. No, we will still go for Senna voice. Until we're certain. After returning from the test of courage, I was trying my best to fall asleep in my bed. However, I couldn't sleep for some reason, so I went to the kitchen to get something to drink. Okay, it is still Senna. It's still Senna POV. It just said Iochi because we're now on Iochi's route. Got it. It's not that I feel so afraid I can't sleep. I'd initially felt that the test of courage would be so frightening that I wouldn't be able to sleep. However, thanks to Iochi being so considerate, it wasn't a very scary experience. I even felt that it was slightly entertaining. I can't help but think that there wasn't anything I could drink in the fridge, but I noticed there was a plum in there. I thought about just eating it, but then I blended it with some ice water and added some sugar to make a smoothie. I guess I'm imitating Iochi. It was refreshing while being tart and sweet, but while it was delicious, I felt it was insufficient if I was trying to imitate Iochi. Last time, Iochi was drinking this thing called a yellow parrot, made with mint and other herbs. And alcohol! A lot of alcohol, Senna! So I decided to add mint to the blender too. I took a sip. Not that great. Yeah, I don't think that was gonna go with what you already had, Senna. I pulled up a chair while feeling disappointed as I took another sip in the kitchen. I felt even more inadequate compared to Iochi. I think it might be wrong to compare us in the first place. Iochi is in a completely different league. They're beautiful and well-dressed, always calm, intelligent, considerate, and composed. I don't know their gender, but there's nothing lacking regardless. We've lived together here for a long time, so it feels so mysterious. But...
恐怖を生み出す悪の権化はいらない。二度と君に、他の誰もに、恐怖をまき散らすことがないように、絶対にプロデューサーを見つけて断罪する。必ずだ。
Today felt different. That was what worried me. I'd never seen Iochi express such strong emotions before. I saw something so close to clear hatred that I couldn't think of it as anything but anger. I sat in my chair and continued to think. It's true that if we consider how the producer brought us all here and continues to lie to us while hiding among the cast members, it's hard not to feel bad about it. So maybe that's why I try not to think about it. And I don't know why they insisted on finding the producer that way. Can't we all just save enough points to go back? Why do we need to find the traitor no matter what? Isn't it better to just prioritize staying alive? While lost in thought, I suddenly felt my drowsiness starting to come back. I began napping with my elbows on the table. Terrible idea to fall asleep there, Senna. I heard the tapping of a glass and woke up surprised. And then I was doubly surprised because of who I heard next to me.
おはよう。いつもながら君は眠り姫だね。
Iochi? Iochi was holding onto the glass of juice that I had made. Did you drink that?
あまり見かけないものだったから気になって一口もらっちゃった。プラムとミントかな？夏っぽい感じだ。
It was kind of a failure. I tried to imitate making a cocktail like you, but it didn't go so well.
そうなの？僕の真似をしてくれるなんて嬉しいね。
失敗というほどじゃないと思うけれど。
But you can call it mediocre. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have added mint.
なるほど。じゃあ少しアレンジしてもいいかな。
I followed Yochi into the kitchen.
ミントを入れて爽やかな感じにするならやっぱり炭酸かな。それと酸味を加えて。
They then added soda to my juice while squeezing lemon juice into it. The juice was split into 2 glasses, and they held one out to me after sampling it.
どうぞ。君の口に合うといいけどね。
The fizzy soda gave it a completely different mouthfeel from earlier. It's delicious! It goes down smooth and it's so refreshing.
それはよかった。ま、炭酸入れてレモンを入れれば大概美味しくなるけどね。
Oh, really? I never would have thought of that. This is amazing.
そんなにキラキラした目で見られるとさすがに照れるね。でも残念だ。今からお小言を言わないと。
Huh? Lecture? Is it because I experimented with food?
こんな可愛い実験なら僕は大歓迎だよ。そうじゃなくて、君は僕の言ったことを全然覚えていないみたいだから。
What Yochi said.
好きだらけ。前も言ったでしょ。男ばかりの宿舎のリビングでうたた寝するなんてうかつすぎる。
As I said, Senna, that's a terrible place to fall asleep. Right. I'm sorry.
夜も更けたからみんな寝てるとは思うけど、徹夜でゲームしちゃう行部くんもいるし、僕みたいに夜更かしな大人もいる。あどけない寝顔に何を思うかは見る人次第だからね。油断しちゃダメだよ。
Yes.
こんなことなら僕の目の前で寝てくれた方がまだいい。まあもちろんその時は遠慮なく食べちゃうけど。
I'll be more careful. I really will. I'll drink this in my room. Good night. I nervously took the glass and left for my room, but Yochi stopped me just as I was about to leave.
ちょっと待って。言いたいのはお小言だけじゃないんだ。
Huh?
こういうのは説教されたってすぐに変われるものじゃない。癖はなかなか抜けないし、性格ならなおのこと。だから一つ提案。そんな好きだらけの君がこの世界で生き抜くためにどうすべきか。
Survive?
この世界は怖いだろ。誰が裏切り者かわからないし、いつ罰ゲームを受けるかもわからない。君のような平和で善良な人間には至極生きにくい世界だよ。だからね、いいポジションをあげる。
I quietly waited for their next words. I thought that maybe it was a bit sudden, but I understood why Yoichi said what they said. It's true that I was careless and let my guard down. Tomase always told me that I was too naive.
僕の助手になってみないかい、セナ君。
Assistant?
僕と一緒に情報を集め、手伝ってくれるだけでいい。そうすれば僕も助かるし、いざという時は君を守ってあげられる。君が間違ったら教え導いてあげるよ。というのはいささか傲慢かな。でも手を貸すよ。できる範囲で。
Protect me from what?
守る必要はない？この世界に恐怖は感じない？
It's not that at all, but this felt a bit excessive, but maybe not. Or maybe I just hadn't noticed. I was careless after all. Then, if you don't mind, I have a feeling that you would always teach me what's right, Iochi.
正しいか。そうだね。僕もそう信じているよ。
They held out a hand to me and we shook. Although the handshake was firm, I felt uneasy about it. Was it right to decide so easily? I glanced over at our hand and then to Iochi. I tried to make the glance subtle, but it was quite obvious to them. I noticed a smile.
では、明日からよろしく。僕らはこの異世界限定のパートナーだね。
Just for the other world? I wasn't exactly doing anything new as Iochi's assistant. I would confirm information on the bangle and look at data from the library. I'd help with things impossible to do alone. That's all there was to it.
男女君は君が僕の助手になることに反対のようだったけれど、僕からも何か説明した方が良かったかな。
No, I'll talk to him about it. I'm happy that Tomose is here, but I think he's a bit too dependent on me. I checked the bookshelves while continuing to talk with Iochi. During breakfast, I told Tomose about how I would be Iochi's assistant, but he didn't react very well to it. I think Tomose should try to talk to others besides me.
僕には幼なじみなんていう存在はいないから不思議だったんだ。君たち二人の関係が。感情の重さが釣り合ってなくて、すぐにも壊れそうなのに壊れない。壊さない。ある種の依存だなと感じたね。だから君に依存の自覚があったのが、余計な話か。バックナンバーの方に集中しよう。
Iochi's fingertips traced across the discs lining the shelves, then stopped in a certain spot. They took it out while explaining.
ここにある中では、このドラマの最新話が一番新しい異世界配信のはずだ。
The library doesn't have data for the dramas we're in yet, so this is from the previous...
いや、前々回だね。前回配信分は図書館のどこを探しても見つからなかった。
So the previous streams episodes aren't here. Well, at least we can look at the one before that, I suppose. But we can't remove past episodes.
そうなんだ。誰かがそれを破って持ち出したか、あるいは異世界配信側が撤去したのか。どちらかはわからないけれど、それが行われたのは僕らがここに来てすぐのことのようだね。
How do we know that? How do you know that?
この図書館のデータは僕らのバングルとリンクしているからだよ。
While saying that, Iochi played back the drama from the disc they were holding.
全く同じデータだろ。このバングルは図書館のデータを閲覧する機能しか持っていない。
Ah. So the fact that we're able to select those episodes but not actually view them means that the version in the library got removed.
逆にこの図書館から持ち出してリンクを切ってしまえばデータの閲覧はできなくなる。君 君は異世界に来てすぐキャストが9人の異世界配信を見たと言ったよね。そして僕はそれが前回配信分だと言った。その時は見ることができたはずのデータが今ではアクセスすらできなくなっている。この図書館にもリスクが存在しない。だから君がそのデータを閲覧した後に何者かが図書館からディスクを持ち出したということになるわけだ。
Yeah, that disc must have been removed just after we started playback. So, when was it we looked at that? And who had left the house? I can't entirely remember who wandered off that night. And of course it could have been after that, I suppose. I see. If the video I saw was removed from the library, then it would become unviewable? Yeah, I can't remember if it was the evening of the first or the second day. There definitely wasn't that many people who we knew went out to look around, right? I don't remember well enough. Hyochi just smiled to tell me that I was right. It's a mystery as to who took it. Taking it is forbidden, but it seems so easy to do so.
いや、僕は試しに持ち出し禁止のディスクを図書館から持って出ようとしたけど、バウンサーが警告を出したからやめたんだ。だから異世界配信側の人間が持ち出したのかなって考えているけど、プロデューサーかスポンサーか。
We wanted to cover our bases, so we looked for the disc of the previous stream, but we were unable to find it. Should we ask everyone else about if they've seen the disc for the previous stream?
尋ねて犯人がどう動くか見てみるのも一つの手だね。考えておこう。
That's not what I meant. The conversation ended there, and we decided to research something else. As we did our research together, I became particularly conscious of something. Hyochi was good at doing research, and was always thinking a few steps ahead of me. I wonder if there's really a need for my help. If I'm just an assistant in name only, and Hyochi is keeping me by their side to protect me. While thinking about those things, I found the book I was told to look for and brought it back. Hyochi, is this it? The book that you wanted? Hyochi thanked me and then tapped quickly at the electronic paper display. I took a peek to see what the content was, but before I could read a single line, it went to the next page. And again, and again. Are you even reading it? You're going so fast I can't see it.
少し訓練したから、こういうのは得意かな。資料を読んだり、整理したりっていうのはね。
Ah, Yochi's got them speed reading skills. It was speed reading. Even after seeing it in front of me, I couldn't believe it. However, something about Iochi made me think it was possible. Iochi continued at that fast pace and finished reading, and they opened up the menu on the bangle.
図書館のデータもあらかた調べ尽くしたし、そろそろ一つ結論を出しても良さそうだ。
You've gone through most of the data in the library? I assume on the particular thing that you're researching and not in the whole library, but I guess a speed reader could probably do that. What conclusion?
ここにあるデータを調べるうちに、とある共通点があることに気がついたんだ。この図書館には多岐にわたるジャンルの資料が保管されているわけだけど、いずれも2118年以前のデータなんだよ。
They're all from before 2118, which I'm going to assume was when there was still a second moon. I repeated the year in my mind. 2118. That was 30 years ago.
30年前といえば思い浮かべることがあるんだけど。
Which must be when the second moon got destroyed. Surely. Isn't that when the second moon was lost due to an accident?
正解。さすが僕の女子だ。では、2つの月のお話をしようか。
So is the data in this library the data that was on the second moon? Are we on the second moon 30 years ago? They smiled happily and then showed me a page in the book from earlier. It contained a picture of the second moon.
2つの月が地球上から観測できるようになったのは2095年。今から53年前だ。そもそもは太陽系外から飛来した巨大小惑星とアポロ軍の小惑星が衝突したところから始まっている。それが2095年以前の。
I'm sorry. There's already something I don't understand.
そりゃそうだね。なんとなくだけ聞いて。まあそれなりに昔、大型の小惑星が別の小惑星と衝突した。
Two asteroids collided. Yoshi simplified things in a way that I could understand.
結果、その残骸がまた小惑星となり、たまたま地球の周りを回る周回軌道に入ったんだ。それが衛星モルペウス。
So Morpheus, I'd assumed Morpheus was man-made, but it wasn't.
ただ地球の衛星といっても特殊でね、完全な公転軌道とは異なり、完全に月と同じように回るわけじゃなく。
Was it geostationary?
月より外側を通ることもあるし、月より内側を通ることもある。
Oh no, just wonky.
太陽と地球の両方の重力に引っ張られて、ゆらりゆらりと地球の周りを回っている。長期ではあるけど、一時的な衛星だったんだよ。
An impermanent satellite.
そしてこの写真はモルペウスが月の内側を通り地球に近づき、たまたま位置が月と並んだ時の写真なんだ。
It just happened to? Then it wasn't always near the moon?
その通り。モルペウスは月よりずっと小さいからね。かなり地球に近い軌道を通っていった時の写真だと思うよ。
That's right. The video I saw at school was when they were lined up together. I thought they were always like that.
実際には たった一瞬のことでもこんなにも美しく幻想的な風景なんだ。二つの月と称してずっと眺めていたいよね。
Just like this world? After mentioning that, I remembered the Arcadian sky. A second moon, or white moon, hung in the sky. Although it seemed fantastical and beautiful, the moon didn't have phases, nor did it move, which made it somewhat creepy to me. The person who created the projected images in this world must love the second moon.
そうだね。あるいは30年前で時が止まっているとも言えると思う。
Frozen in time?
二つの月が存在したのは30年前。この図書館の最新データも30年前。
It appeared too convenient to be a mere coincidence. Previously, when I asked if this world is from the past, you denied it, Iochi. But what if it is the world from 30 years ago?
今回も否定させてもらうよ。僕はタイムトラベルなんていう荒唐無稽なことは信じていない。もちろんこの世界も十分荒唐無稽だけどさ、物理法則をどれだけ無視したら気が済むのかって思うよ。
Right. I guess that's not possible.
けれどこの世界が30年前の世界を再現した場所だって可能性はあるかもしれない。どんな意図かわからないけどね。
To look like the world from 30 years ago. I nodded in agreement, but I still couldn't imagine how this was supposed to connect with what was happening in reality. If Yoshi didn't know, there was no way I would. So I just gave up and went back to the original topic. But I didn't know that Morpheus was an impermanent satellite. That's the first I heard of that.
いつかは地球から離れ、また違う軌道を描くはずだったんだよ。だからこそのモルペウス計画だしね。
Oh, right. So did they create a huge data store on the temporary second moon in hopes that then when that moon left orbit and went somewhere else, the data would go with it then? Sort of like sending data on the spaceships that we send out into the great abyss of space, right? Huh? It is.
モルペウス計画にはいくつか段階があった。第一段階はモルペウスを月の裏側の月基地と地球の中継局として機能させること。第二段階はモルペウスそのものを今後の宇宙開発の中継基地として発展させていくこと。こちらは多大な希望を含んだプランだけどね。
Oh, I think I've heard of that. Morpheus would be used to consolidate the world's data on the lunar base and be used for space development. The lunar base was to be built first, and when was that again? But the Information Bureau would send people to the lunar base, right?
へへ、詳しいな。2108年のことだね。正確に言えば情報局ではなく NOIRC だけど、まあ似たようなものだ。
NOIRC, National Organization for Information Research and Control. It oversees the development, research of Japan's information management systems. The 2108 Morpheus project was created by the NOIRC.
彼らの夢は夢の神モルペウスに 知識の船を乗せて宇宙の探索をし、それらの情報を集約することだった。それが2118年の事故により本当の夢となって書き消えたとは。皮肉な話だね。
The accident. What was it again? Morpheus at the time.
衛星モルペウスがバラバラになった事故だよ。バラバラというと大げさだが、実際一部は砕けて月面基地にも落ちた。
Oh. R.I.P. Luna Base.
事故の原因は万一の可能性に備えてモルペウスに設置された軌道修正処理装置だ。装置なんて言うと聞こえはいいが、要はただの爆弾だね。
A bomb?
特殊な軌道を描く衛星モルペウスはいつどんな影響で軌道を変え地球に衝突するかわからなかった。だから当時の人間は先手を打ったんだよ。万が一地球に衝突することがあれば軌道修正ができるようにモルペウスに爆弾を設置した。しかしその装置が誤作動を起こし、予定しなかったタイミングでモルペウスは砕けてしまった。そして月面基地も多少なりとも被害を受け、モルペウス計画は破綻した。それが事故のあらましだ。
Yoichi talked about it while showing me pictures for reference. But all the data in the library was from 30 years ago, and there was no data after the accident. All it had were the hopes and dreams attributed to the dream of Morpheus.
それにしてもこの件はあまり報道されていないし知らない人が多いのに、君はよく覚えてるね。
After I heard that, I also wondered why I remembered it. My mother was knowledgeable about it and talked to me a lot about it, I think. But it was when I was still young.
そうなんだ。まさか君のお母さんは情報局に勤めていたりする？
No, I don't think so.
そっか。それなら心強いと思ったけど、さすがにそんな偶然はなかったね。
Yoichi, you seem to know a lot about it too. I always thought you were so knowledgeable.
うん。この分野は興味があって。なんなら宇宙開発事業についてもっと踏み込んだ話をしてもいいけど。
So your office work is related to space development, Yoichi? It sounds complicated, but it does seem interesting.
難しすぎるっていつも嫌がられるんだ。だからほどほどにしておくね。
After that big laugh, Yoichi closed the book. It does sound interesting, but I have a hard time keeping up, and there were also some parts I didn't understand. My first day with Yoichi was over. I had a lot to learn. Yoichi and I were in the living room reviewing what had happened earlier in order to finish our first day together.
僕について回るのは大変じゃなかった？他に用事があるならもちろんそれを優先してくれて構わないけど。
It's no problem. Beside cooking duties, I don't have anything else important to do. It's more important right now for me to be able to help you.
気負わなくていいよ。僕が頼んだんだしね。一日お疲れ様。ゆっくり休んでね。
I stood up to leave, but stopped when I noticed Yoichi hadn't budged. Yoichi, you're not going to sleep?
あ、僕はもう一度バックナンバーをチェックしようと思って。気になったドラマがあったから。
Then I'll check it with you. I'm your assistant after all.
じゃあ一緒に見ようか。参考になるだろうしね。
Yoichi started up their bangle and then started playing the past episodes in order. This one is a suspense drama. The content was violent. The cast members were hurting each other. There were also a few punishment games on screen. The cruelness of it all appeared to show that this was what the other world stream was supposed to be like. The story of the drama entered its climax and one of the cast members refused to act. That put his points into the negative and he was given a dead end. Despite the cries and pleas, the director's ruthless announcement was made and the cast member vanished. That's terrible! I whispered that out loud, and I noticed that my hands were shaking and I'd averted my eyes.
大丈夫。動画を止めようか。
I'm fine, but how could they do something so terrible?
そうだね。あ、これで最終話みたいだ。エンドロールが流れ始めた。
Ooh, what are we gonna see in the credits? Yoichi, aren't you scared?
怖いか。僕は怖いというより。
Yoichi, who was looking at me, glanced at the screen before quickly turning it off.
今の聞こえた？
Huh?
あ、いや、小腹が空いたみたいでお腹が鳴っちゃったんだ。
Yoichi, what did you see that you didn't want us to see? Yoichi, what was that? Really? I didn't hear anything.
恥ずかしいな。夜食でも食べたいな。確か僕には料理上手な助手がいたはずだけど。
Yeah, we clearly do not have enough trust yet. Yoichi kept glancing at me, so I giggled a little and stood up. Yoichi is also making an excuse to send us out of the room so that they can finish looking at whatever it was they saw. Alright. I'm not that good, but I'll make you a midnight snack that's easy to digest.
謙遜が得意だね。僕にしてみれば最高のシェフだよ。気遣いもその腕も。
It didn't feel bad being complimented that way. I went to the kitchen wondering what to make, and I turned around because something bothered me.
あ、僕も一緒に作ろうか。指示してくれれば手伝えるから。
It's not that. It'll be quick, so please have a seat. I couldn't say it, so I went back to the kitchen. It seemed like Yoichi suddenly turned off the video and changed the subject. Is that just my imagination? There was some cream soup left over from dinner, so I poured it over some tofu and put cheese on top to make a simple baked dish. Ooh, that sounds tasty! It was a midnight snack made with leftovers, but Yoichi seemed to enjoy it.
すごく美味しいよ。さすが瀬名君、頼んでよかった。
Yoichi's smile was so bright it made me smile too.
君も一口どう？
Huh? I opened my mouth by reflex. I thought about how I'd often shared food with my younger sisters, but that I'd rarely ever received anything myself. It It was the same spoon that Iochi was using, but maybe they didn't mind. I felt a little embarrassed, but still ate it. Oh! It was hot. I forgot it was freshly baked. Iochi also seemed to have forgotten and apologized while handing me some tea.
ごめん、冷ましてからあげればよかった。はい、冷たいお茶。
Right. I took it and washed it down. The chilled tea helped a lot and the pain didn't linger that long. The embarrassment of sharing the spoon was gone, and I just sighed in relief as we looked at each other. I'm guessing it's iced tea. Iced tea was mentioned earlier, I guess, so clearly they have that.
Ah, 本当にごめんね。そこまで熱いと思わなかったよ。何かお詫びを考えておかないと。
There's no need for that. It was just a little hot. I was exaggerating.
いや、僕が謝りたいだけだよ。いろいろとごめんね。
That expression was so serious that I didn't know how to respond.
そうだ。他にも君に見せたい資料があったんだ。今食べてしまうから、ちょっと待ってね。
Oh, sure. Take your time. Although I said that, once Iochi was done and we started looking at the data, I began to feel drowsy. Maybe it was because I ate something warm. It was difficult to resist my sleepiness. I'm sorry. I know we're still talking, but I'm a bit sleepy. I'm going back to my room.
そうなの？あと少しなんだけど、ここの最後まで確認できないかな。すぐ終わるから。
But I was so drowsy that I couldn't even talk straight. Despite that, Iochi wouldn't let me leave and held onto my arm.
今日別の資料を確認していて思ったんだけど、この部分はね。
I can't. Iochi just told me yesterday too. I feel so sleepy. Time to fall asleep on Iochi's shoulder. My eyelids drooped, and I suddenly fell asleep. It was as if I'd just passed out. Man, I wish I could fall asleep that easily. I don't remember what happened after that. The world seemed to rock back and forth, and in the next instant... Yep, we're being carried to bed again. Yeah, here we are again, falling asleep in places we shouldn't. The Iochi's fault this time. We tried to go to bed. I heard the sound of a door, and I opened my eyes, revealing a pretty face. Sharp eyes and long eyelashes, a straight nose. I thought about how beautiful that face was, and I jumped up awake. Oh yeah! It's Princess Carrie! With a CG! What? Iochi?
おや、目が覚めた。完全に熟睡してるかと思ったけど。
Yep, asking you shall receive indeed. You got what you wanted there, Nick. I'm awake now. I'm completely awake. I'm sure I'm heavy. Please put me down.
そんなに慌てなくても。
平気だから安心して。ほら、手を離すと落ちちゃうよ。
Also, this is definitely not the first time that Iochi has carried us to bed. It's at least the second time. I looked around for something to grab onto while Iochi just laughed joyfully as they looked at me. I was taken to my bed soon after. It was the first time I'd been carried like that, and it was more surprising that it was by Iochi. Senna, it's not the first time. The other night when you didn't remember getting to bed, that happened then too. It would be impossible for most women to do, right? What does that mean? I reckon I could carry Senna to bed too. It'd be more embarrassing if Iochi were a man. It took me too long to come up with those ideas, and I was gently let down onto my bed. Iochi's hair gently brushed against my cheek, and it made my heart race even more.
靴も脱がせてあげようか、お姫様。
I can take them off myself. It's embarrassing when you liken me to Sleeping Beauty, and
それより
I'm sorry I fell asleep. You just warned me about it yesterday.
ん？
I sat on my bed while removing my shoes. When I looked up, Iochi was looking right at me. Iochi?
もし僕らが元の世界で出会っていたら、どんな風に言葉を交わしたんだろうね。今みたいに話すことはできたかな。
Probably. If we'd met back in the original world, we probably wouldn't be talking like this, Iochi. We would probably have a lot less in common. It seems kind of sudden. I want to talk to you in the same way. Someone as smart and kind as you. I've never met anyone that's almost ideal.
そんな人間がいたら僕も会いたいね。実際の僕は自分にできることしかやらないただの現実主義者だ。理想なんて捨ててるよ。美しい理想を持てる人が羨ましい。
You must see yourself quite a bit differently than I do then, Iochi.
残念ながらね。
It's unfortunate, but I hesitated in choosing my words, and Iochi's kind smile returned.
しまった。眠いのに邪魔したね。そろそろおいとまするよ。
Oh. I thought I had to say something, but the words wouldn't come out. Iochi is going away. I started feeling nervous, and before I realized it, I grabbed onto Iochi's shirt. I froze up, realizing what I had done, and Iochi just turned around, perplexed. Oh, sorry. It's nothing. After my response, there was a short pause, followed by Iochi gently touching my forehead. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I heard something other than a touch there. That was a forehead kiss. A Princess Carrie and a forehead kiss. We're eating good tonight. At first, I thought Iochi had only touched me with their hand, but when I had felt something soft on my forehead, their face was closer. Yes, and being called princess. That's true. Iochi is very much my type. Iochi kissed me on the forehead. I curled up and buried my face in my hands. The sense of shame that I'd held back in the presence of Iochi suddenly came rushing forth. I was Princess carried to bed and then kissed on the forehead. I didn't mind, but what about Iochi? Does Iochi always do that? Or could Iochi be a woman who would easily do that to someone of the same sex? Either way, I crawled into bed, unsure if I'd fall asleep, but dawn arrived much faster than I'd expected. I'm sleepy. I plopped lifelessly onto the sofa. Haiji was reading a book next to me, and I heard Ibana and Iochi cleaning up in the kitchen after the lunch we'd had.
お姉ちゃん大丈夫？具合悪いの？
No, I just didn't sleep well.
眠いの？じゃあ寝たら？
Sleeping in the middle of the day would make me feel guilty.
罪悪感？
It just means that I'd feel bad about it.
なるほど。
What about you, Haiji? What are you reading?
ヘンゼルとグレーテル知ってる？
I do know Hansel and Gretel, Haiji. But does Senna? I do. It's not a very fun story, though. How far are you?
全部読んだよ。でもこういう絵本って何か教訓があるものなんでしょ？この本の場合何なのかなって考えてた。
He's wondering what the lesson would be in Hansel and Gretel. Don't eat someone's house? If you find a weird house in the middle of the woods, avoid it? Lie to witches to save your own skin? Oh, you don't know Hansel and Gretel, Drag. It's two siblings get left in the woods by their stepmother, and in order to try and find their way home, they've dropped crumbs on the way. But the crumbs get eaten by birds, so they get lost. And then they find a house made of sweets. And they eat some of the house, and then the witch who lives in the house comes out and gets mad at them and imprisons them and is working on fattening them up so that she can eat them. But what was it? No, she's fattening Hansel up to eat him, I think, and planning on raising Gretel, the girl, to be a witch, I think. It's been a while since I've read it. But Hansel tricks her because she's blind. And so she's trying to feel like how thick his finger is or whatever, and he's using just a bone that he's found to trick her into thinking that he's not gaining weight. And then something they push the witch into her own oven and she dies. That's about all I can remember of Hansel and Gretel.
いいね。小学生らしい学習だ。
Yochi. We'd already seen each other a few times since the morning, so I didn't feel as embarrassed as yesterday, but I still couldn't lock eyes with them. Yochi, on the other hand, didn't seem to mind one bit. They took the picture book that Haiji was holding.
古い童話は残虐性が高いということで大きく改変されていることが多いけど、この本はそうでもないみたいだね。
Maybe it's not censored because it was printed before the age of electronic paper. Wow, they censored the old fairy tales? But you lose some of the meaning to them if you censor them.
そうだろうね。両親に捨てられた兄弟、ヘンゼルとグレーテル。
I think Yochi is going to tell us about what this story is. Let's see how well I remembered it, I guess.
森の奥から家に帰れるようにとパンをちぎって目印にしたのに、それを小鳥に食べられて家に帰れなくなった。
Yep.
おかげで森の中をさまよい歩き、やがてお菓子の家にたどり着く。しかしそこには人食いの魔女が住んでいた。
Yep.
そんな感じ。でも兄が食べられそうになって妹が魔女をカバに突き落として殺しちゃうんだ。その後は家に帰ってめでたしめでたし。
Yep. Yeah, that was it. Gretel pushed the witch into the oven because obviously she wasn't locked up.
だいぶ省いたね。まあでも確かにそんな話だ。
So I did remember slightly more than Haiji had just said. It's a sad story. The siblings were abandoned by their parents because they had no food in the first place.
最後にはめでたしめでたしで終わっているよ。言うほど不幸な話かな。
魔女のところから持って帰った宝石でお金持ちになるんだよね。もうご飯には困らないと思うよ。
Didn't remember the jewels. Okay, but they were still abandoned. And I also think it's a bit cruel to murder the witch. Senna, the witch was going to eat Hansel. I think it's perfectly reasonable for the witch to end up dead.
けれど、そのままでは家族全員が飢え死にしていたんじゃない？それなら、子供を犠牲にするのも致し方ないかも。
I think I read something a while ago that stories like that sort of indicate that parents probably abandon their children in the middle of the woods a fair bit for it to turn up in a story. Just so that they didn't have as many mouths to feed. Which is quite sad.
魔女のことだってグレーテルが殺さなければ兄弟は2人とも殺されていたんだ。まあ当然の選択だと思うけどな。
I suppose so.
僕はそういった犠牲が時には必要なんだという教訓がこの物語 には込められていると感じたね。何かをなすためには犠牲が必要だ。時には大切なものを切り捨てることもあるだろう。
Well, I guess that's one meaning to get from that, Iochi.
犠牲か。お姉ちゃんはどう思った？
Me? Well, I think... I could feel Iochi and Haiji staring at me, but I couldn't come up with a good answer. I don't agree that sacrifices are ever necessary. Oh, you poor naive girl. After a short silence, Iochi sat down next to me. It seemed that the debate would continue.
では彼らはどうすべきだったと思う？君が二人の親だったら？君がグレーテルだったらどうしてたかな？子供二人を切り捨てず4人で飢え死にを選ぶ？魔女に食べられるヘンゼルを見殺しにし一人で助かる道を選ぶ？
I was given difficult choices. It was a mean way for Iochi to put it. I don't want to sacrifice anyone or let them die, but I still don't know what to do. I want to find a way for everyone to survive, and if possible, I want to avoid murdering the witch. Maybe she was hungry too. I mean, yeah, she probably was. They were my words, but I looked at the floor because I wasn't confident about what I'd said. Would there ever be choices that convenient? Iochi pulled my chin up so I'd look up again.
そういうかっこいいことは目を見て言わなきゃ。まっすぐにね。君の言った通りにできるといいね。その選択肢もあることを僕の頭の中に入れておこう。
My chin was held tightly and I couldn't look away, so I backed away in confusion. Iochi's smile grew even more gentle.
遠慮なく触りすぎたかな。
It's not that I don't like it, it's just a bit embarrassing.
その発言、後悔しなければいいけどね。
じゃあもう一個質問。いおちさんは兄と妹とどっちがいい？
ん？性別の話？
それも気になるけど、どっちが好きなのかなって。
妹が助けてくれるのを待つヘンゼルと、兄のために魔女を殺すグレーテルと、どちらの立場がいいかってこと？
うん。犠牲になるはずだった方と犠牲を選ぶ方だよね。
そうだな。その二人なら、待ってるのは性に合わないし、妹だね。
そうなんだ。へえ。
ハイジ君の場合はどちらを選ぶのかな？
僕はパンを食べる小鳥がいい。空も飛べるし。
That wasn't a choice you gave there, Haiji.
そうだね。それなら僕も小鳥がいいよ。
I started laughing too. The tense atmosphere lightened up and we closed the picture book. If possible, I don't want to see cruel stories. I keep comparing it to my own situation. Sacrificing someone for yourself is too... A long conversation made me forget about things for a while, but that sound reminded me. Oh! Stream time! It's been a while since we've seen one of these, although I assume they must have continued happening. Yeah, there are other hazards you have to worry about as a bird as well. But you can fly. I mean, that's a pretty big benefit. It was time for the Otherworld stream. I looked at my bangle and saw the usual drama details. Stream status: drama starts in 3 minutes. Stream content: Younger Girlfriend, episode 11. Genre: romance drama. Ah, Younger Girlfriend is the one with Anzaniochi, I think. Cast: Kurata, Mizuki Iochi, Serena, Hiyori Sena. Iochi also checked the details and looked at me. Because it was a romance drama, there would be many moments with body contact. I felt like the drama would be bad for my heart.
おっと、結構踏み込んだ内容だね。これはセナ君は平気なのかな？
Huh? I'm fine. It's like I said earlier, it's not that I dislike it.
恥ずかしいだけか。では遠慮なく。頑張ろうね。君は僕の年下の彼女だ。
Kurata called out Serena in anger because she had completely taken him for granted. Serena tried to resist as usual, but Kurata didn't back off either. Their relationship took a turn for the worse. We didn't change stages because the conversation was supposed to take place in the living room. But it became darker outside the window, and Haiji, who was on the sofa, vanished. Yeah, I get to see Iochi in a suit again. And Iochi, who was in front of me, wore a suit. Oh, it starts with Serena trying to leave after the fight. I rushed toward the exit, but my hand was grabbed. I turned around and saw Iochi's face pressed up close before I was pushed against the wall. Oh? Hmm?
何度も言っただろう。俺の彼女である以上、俺を優先しろって。そういうルールだったはずだ。
I don't care. You made up that rule yourself.
じゃあ俺もルールを破っていいんだな。お前の両親に全てを話すか。
Please no.
なら従えよ。何のために恋人の契約をしたんだ、君は。
It feels like I'm being yelled at for real. Iochi's acting always changes in tone depending on the roles. Maybe that's why. I knew it was a line from a drama, but it felt like the words were directed at me. It's not so that you can yell at me like this. Iochi peered at my face as I couldn't escape. They were waiting for my next move. I'm supposed to cry here, but I can't do that easily. I tried to hunch over to make myself look smaller, and with my one free hand I covered my face and pretended to cry. You called me your girlfriend. Why do you keep saying things like that? If you'd have asked, I would have told you why. I do want to prioritize you, Kurata.
本当に。
Why do I have to lie to you? I truly... Seeing my act, Iochi then smiled and took another step closer. They wrapped their hand around my waist and pulled me close. Then Iochi kissed me on the neck. I was lifted up and my legs felt weak. Iochi's hand felt warm as our fingers intertwined. They weren't holding on to me roughly, but I couldn't escape, and I could feel Yochi's breath on my neck as they continued to kiss it.
それなら証が欲しい。確かな愛の証が。
The lines were exactly on script. The stage directions then called for Karata to hug Serena. But this is... I didn't expect this. I suddenly stopped my act and tried to move away, but those passionate kisses on my neck continued.
逃げるなよ。ちゃんと覚えるまで教えてやる。これが俺の愛し方だ。お前が泣こうがわめこうが、こんなやり方しかできない。でも、お前の態度次第ではもう少し考えてやるよ。俺に証を見せてくれるというなら。
Proof?
そう。証。君は絵本の中の誰かのように切り捨てたりはしない。
I was confused, so I looked at the script. The line was improvised.
100を救うために僕は1を切り捨てる覚悟があるよ。それがたとえ恋人でもどんなに大切な人でも僕は犠牲にすることができる。君はどう100のために僕を捨てられる？俺にその証を見せてくれ。
Proof. I was still thrown off from Hyochi's improvisation, but I followed the script. I don't know what you're talking about. Can't I just say I want to be with you?
俺だってお前以上にお前と一緒にいたいと思ってる。お前が気づいていないだけで。
Oh, really? Are you sure?
なんでこんなこと言わなきゃいけないんだ。ただお前の気持ちを確かめたいだけなんだ。証がなければ信じられない。だから俺はお前を愛している。どうってごめん。
Hyochi's whisper was terribly gentle. My body felt numb in the places I was touched, and it was so soft that it was dizzying. I'm not Serena, and Hyochi isn't Karata either. I knew this was all an act, but it felt like we truly were in love.
おかえり。
ただいま。あと言っても場所が変わっていないから不思議な感じだね。
お姉ちゃんもおかえり。
Oh, yeah. My heart was pounding and my body felt hot. I pretended to be calm so that no one would notice, but I couldn't tell how good a job I was doing.
何の話をしてたんだっけ？絵本の話が終わったとこだったかな。
うん、おやつの話してた。
I'm not sure we were talking about snacks, Haiji. I think you're taking advantage of Yoshi forgetting what we were doing. Yoshi is acting normal. That kiss and those lines were improvised, but they were so natural. Oh yeah, it's definitely time for a snack. That's true. I wonder if they'll ever hesitate. I tried to remember the improvisations inserted in between, but I was so nervous that I was only able to remember bits and pieces of it. To sacrifice one for the sake of 100. As I thought about that, I noticed a banner coming from the kitchen and a cafe from the upstairs.
なんすかさっきのあれ、見てるこっちが照れたぞ。
ええ、本当に。でもすごくお上手でしたね。かなりポイントが入ったのでは。
そうでもないよ。まだまだ演技力が足りないらしい。
Yeah, it has been a while since we've seen them.
これ以上やられたら画面を直視できないんですが。
And does I? Hey, if you were all too embarrassed to watch it, you could have just turned it off. You don't have to watch.
なら見るなよ、バカバカしい。
お前は見てないと思った。
せえな、恋愛ドラマなんて見るかよ。
Is the information gathering team going out now?
そう、話し合い終わったから行ってきます。
See you later.
セナさんはいつも大変ですね。頑張ってください。
じゃあ行ってきます。
The three of them left, and the noisy lodging fell silent. They cheered me up.
おやつの話してたらアイス食べたくなってきた。
好きなだけ食えばいいだろう。冷凍庫のやつ少しは減らせ。邪魔なんだよ。20個以上詰め込みやがって。
さすがエヴァナ君、数えたんだね。
Then I'll go and start preparing dinner. The other three are the cleaning team, right? So I assume they're inside. It was cleaning, right? Cooking, cleaning, information gathering.
More?
早すぎないか。何作る気だ。
I felt uncomfortable being there, so I ran into the kitchen. The past few days made me restless. I stared at the fridge and thought about it. It all started when I became Iochi's assistant. Iochi was an intelligent and wonderful person, but liked to invade others' personal space. I don't really mind being touched or anything. I guess I wouldn't care if it was with a woman, but from that act earlier, I'm starting to think they're more masculine. But if they're a woman, then kissing someone on the neck would be bold. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get to find out how many points we got. I stood in front of the fridge while thinking, and I heard someone behind me.
斬新な進み方をしてるね。そんなに暑い？
It was Iochi, and I cautiously turned around while closing the fridge. I was thinking of the menu.
そう？さっき顔が赤かったから暑いのかと。
I wondered if they were saying that on purpose. Anyone would feel at least a little embarrassed after an act like that. I'm jealous that you can always keep it cool.
そう？下準備をするなら手伝おうと思ったんだけど、何か手伝うことはあるかな？
I was being a bit sarcastic, but Iochi brushed it off. Either way, it was time to get to work. Well, please help me decide on the menu first. I'm thinking about what I should make.
いいよ。候補はあるのかな？
There's lots of chicken thigh meat. So I was thinking of using that, like teriyaki or fried chicken or maybe tomato stew.
じゃあ照り焼きで。
Okay, teriyaki it is then. What do I do for the garnish? I can do salad or cucumber salad.
ピクルス、夏らしくていいね。パプリカで彩り鮮やかに。
Then I'll make the cucumber salad using paprika.
あとは汁物も考えればいいのかな。
Well, oh. Yoshi, you decide really fast. Don't you ever hesitate or want to have both?
どれかを選んでほしいんだと思ったけど、違った。
Yes, but I find it's amazing how you can decide without any hesitation.
君は迷っちゃうの？
I tried to think about what I usually did. At school and at home, I was never able to decide, and someone always decided for me in the end. Well, I think I often do hesitate when choosing a menu. My younger siblings often decide for me.
君が作るんだから、君の好きなものにしてしまえばいいのに。
But...
じゃあさ、兄弟間でよくある揉め事の一つ、お菓子やケーキの奪い合い。これはどう？どっちが大きいとか小さいとか、自分はこっちが好きだとか嫌いだとか、争いにならなかった？そういう時は。
I often just let my younger siblings choose. I'm satisfied with leftovers, and if I decided myself, I'd just hesitate again.
そこでも同じなんだね。迷うと両方なくしちゃうかもよ。
Huh?
ほら、迷ってる間に全部兄弟に食べられちゃったとか経験ない？やっぱりわかりやすいね、君は。
If only I could decide things as quickly as you, I think I'd have less to regret.
後悔か。後悔はしないと決めれば生まれてくることもないよ。
I stared blankly at Iochi, but they looked at me calmly.
もしどちらか迷っちゃうなら、僕に聞いてくれてもいいんだよ。
Ask you?
迷うなら僕についておいで。少なくともここにいる間は僕は君を導いてあげるから。
I hesitated to answer. Even in that moment, I was hesitating, and it made me realize just how much I relied on others for decisions. I felt so pitiful for being that way. If I end up hesitating, I might ask for help. I responded with a smile, but I had to think about it some more. Scene change. And I'm going to utilize that scene change as the ending for tonight. So, thank you very much for coming. It's been fun. I got the route I wanted. So, yes. If you're new here and you've enjoyed your time, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can also follow me on social media, which is linked in the description. The streaming schedule is posted both over there on social media and over here on YouTube in the posts tab of the channel. The next scheduled stream is Friday, 7 PM for some more Tales of Symphonia. So I hope to see you then, or another time. Once again, thank you very much for coming, and this is Kalla signing out. See ya!